Do you have strained, close relationships in your life that cause you to feel physically and emotionally drained? Or maybe you find yourself in a state of anxiety and stress more often than you'd like to be. If any of this sounds familiar, it is very likely that you are struggling mainly because you haven't been taught how to master this one extremely important skill: healthy detachment. Learning how to apply a healthy dose of detachment in your life will greatly improve not only your personal relationships, but also how you navigate your life in general. In this episode of the Mindshift Mami Show, I'll be defining what is healthy detachment, strategies to help you practice it specifically in relationships, and then we'll wrap up with some powerful affirmations that will help you build up your muscle of detaching so that you start to live a more emotionally balanced life with healthier relationships and a focus on your well-being. But first, welcome back. My name is Jazri, and I discuss topics centered around shifting the way we think to live more empowered and authentic lives. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification button as I post new episodes every Monday. Now, let's get into detachment. Healthy detachment is about being involved in life's experiences without letting those experiences define your emotional state or sense of self. It's about knowing what you want, yet being able to let go of the desired outcome, the timeline in when it happens, or the how around how it's going to show up in your life, and still being able to find happiness in the present moment. A lot of us struggle with detachment in our relationships because these tend to be people that we really care about. So it's harder to detach and not be stressed or worried when we see they're not doing good. We want them to be happy and healthy right here and right now. By practicing healthy detachment, you are more aware of what actually is in your control. You keep more of a positive attitude, and you don't let things you can't control make you feel stressed or worried. It's about putting down the emotional baggage and recognizing it is not up to us the timing in which someone else will learn their life lessons. So, what does healthy detachment look like in relationships? This is the ability to maintain emotional boundaries and independence while still staying connected and caring. It means being able to separate your own emotions, your own needs, and your own identity from those of others, especially in situations where you might be overly enmeshed or too involved in someone else's reactions, problems, or life in general. You may be wondering, isn't detaching mean or selfish? And no, it isn't. We don't detach to punish others or because we're angry at them. Detachment is about self-preservation. It's also a way to love and empower others to do the same for themselves, even if they might not see it that way. If you are constantly hovering, worrying, telling other people what to do, or rescuing them, they never have the opportunity to learn how to make decisions, solve their own problems, and learn from their mistakes. When you do those things for them, you're creating dependency, which isn't helpful or kind. Now, I'm going to hold your hand while saying this. It is impossible to change someone who isn't ready to change themselves. I'm going to say it for you again one more time. It is impossible to change someone who isn't ready or willing to change themselves. A lot of the time, people in our lives are actually complaining about things just to vent and aren't actually ready to figure out and follow through with a solution to solve their problems themselves. We assume they are because they're talking about the issue, or we can see that they're unhappy. But not everyone is actually looking for a solution, especially when it involves them taking the steering wheel and accepting responsibility for their own life. This is why the first strategy to help you practice healthy detachment is our mind shift and key takeaway for today: shifting from fixing to supporting. Trying to fix other people's problems is only going to lead to burnout and over-involvement. Fixing is also a form of controlling, as you are aiming to control the outcome of other people's lives. Shifting your focus to supporting others rather than solving their problems empowers them and reduces your emotional burden. So next time, instead of racking your brain and offering solutions to people's ongoing issues, you're going to practice healthy detachment, remain in your own power, and instead practice active listening. Encourage them to find their own solutions by asking questions like, what do you think would be the best way to handle this? Offer support, but avoid taking on the responsibility of their outcomes. The second strategy to become good at healthy detachment is to practice mindfulness. Why does this help? Mindfulness helps you stay grounded in the present moment and reduces the tendency to get caught up in other people's emotions or problems. It helps you stay self-aware and emotionally regulated. So when you're being mindful and observing a situation play out, you will be better able to recognize when you seem to be caring more about another person's well-being and finding solutions than they do themselves. And yes, I know it can be heartbreaking to watch a loved one self-destruct or seem like a helpless victim to their own circumstances. But remember why we're here in this episode in the first place. It's more painful to keep nagging, keep stressing, keep arguing and rescuing, and still have nothing change in their circumstance, and you're the one being left feeling drained. So if you get sucked into other people's emotions and situations really easily, please really take practicing mindfulness seriously. Incorporate mindfulness techniques such as deep breathing, meditation, or focusing on your senses, especially in moments of stress or when you feel the urge to over-engage. This helps create a mental pause, allowing you to respond thoughtfully rather than react emotionally. The third strategy to help you become healthily detached in relationships is to set and maintain clear boundaries. Establishing boundaries allows you to define what is acceptable and what is not in your relationships. This creates a space where you can protect your emotional well-being without feeling guilty or responsible for other people's issues. So how do we do it? We start by clearly communicating our limits to others, whether it's regarding time, emotional involvement, or energy. For example, you might say, I can listen for 15 minutes, but I need to focus on my own task after that. Or, I understand that you're struggling right now, but I won't be engaging in gossip about other family members. Practice enforcing these boundaries consistently. People who are stuck in a loop of a victim mentality will likely need several reminders that you no longer will participate with them in unhealthy patterns. And this leads into our final strategy for becoming a healthy, detached person. Focus on your self-care. Prioritizing your own physical, emotional, and mental health ensures that you have the energy and resilience to engage with others from a place of strength rather than depletion. When you care for yourself, it becomes easier to detach healthily. When you don't take care of yourself and you don't prioritize forming a strong relationship with yourself, you are more prone into falling into codependent relationships, reactive outbursts from others' actions, and anxious attachments. So how do you do self-care? Regularly engage in activities that replenish you, whether it's exercise, hobbies, spending time with supportive people, or simply taking time for rest and relaxation. Ensure that your own needs are being met, so you're not overly reliant on others for validation or fulfillment. Remember that cup metaphor and how you genuinely cannot give from an empty cup unless it is overflowing. Ensure your cup is filled up to the very top just for you so that others can receive your overflow. So now my final thoughts. Healthy detachment doesn't mean that you stop caring about others. Detaching means you maintain compassion and empathy without sacrificing your own well-being. It helps you strike a balance between caring for others and caring for yourself. Remind yourself that you can care deeply for someone while still maintaining distance from their issues. You can say to yourself, I love and care for this person, but I trust them to handle their own challenges. If you begin practicing even just one of these 4 strategies we discussed, I promise you, you will begin to immediately see an improvement in your mental well-being. You are also going to cultivate healthier relationships with the people in your life based on respect and authenticity instead of codependence and emotional enmeshment. That is the beauty of healthy detachment. Now, let's get into these empowering affirmations to further you on your healthy detachment journey. Repeating affirmations will help you build new neural pathways that will in turn help these healthy behaviors become more and more easy to implement into your everyday life. So if it's safe for you to do so, you can place your hand over your heart and repeat after me. I am open to receiving my desires in unexpected ways. I am open to receiving my desires in unexpected ways. I empower myself and my loved ones by detaching emotionally. I empower myself and my loved ones by detaching emotionally. I surrender to the natural flow of life with trust. I surrender to the natural flow of life with trust. I create healthy boundaries for my own well-being. I create healthy boundaries for my own well-being. I bask in the freedom of releasing control. I bask in the freedom of releasing control. If you enjoyed today's episode, I think you'll also enjoy my episode on signs you're from an enmeshed family, as that episode goes more in depth about why you might feel overly obligated and attached to rescuing people in the first place. In the meantime, keep shifting those mindsets, and I will see you over there or in next week's episode. Take care. Bye-bye.